YouTube, what's happening? Zay learns in full effect. I just want to talk about the results of my emotional intelligence test, EQ, also known as. It wasn't good. It wasn't the best. For example, there is 4 categories that they discussed. One of them was it was called social, one of them is social awareness. For some reason, I didn't do so well on that. I got a 66 on social awareness. So with social awareness, that is just the ability to accurately perceive emotions from other people and how they perceive you, and understanding those verbal cues from others. So I didn't really do so well on that. That was actually one of my worst scores, is social awareness. Actually, on the social awareness, I got a 64. Self-awareness, I did better. Being aware of my own personal self and how I am and how I relate was a little better, but it still needs some work. That was at a 66. Social awareness was at a 64. Self-management, that was at a 65. And with self-management, it's more along the lines of being able to manage my own self, my own moods, in situations where I'm happy, and then situations where I'm sad or upset, or when I receive good news or when I receive bad news, being able to handle different types of emotions, and being able to maneuver and being able to continue to go along with my day, and also being able to have an impact on others, but in a positive way. So self-management is very key, and I'm realizing that now, that when I have great energy, it helps others have great energy as well. But also, if I'm not in a not so great mood, I got to be able to manage my mood, and making sure that it doesn't have a negative impact on the people that are around me. So that was one of the things that I'm learning, is that. And then also relationship management. That's something that I also need to work on. That wasn't good. I realize now that I got to do a better job of communicating with others more, in a better, in certain situations, I could be better at communicating with others, but at the same time, being able to do it with love, and also being able to, there's a time to be direct, and then there's also a time to be a little bit more indirect, depending on each person's personality and their emotional state and where they're coming from. And just with relationship management, is more along the lines of hearing other people's side and where they're coming from and the mood that they're in, and understanding where those emotions come from and where they lie. So with relationship management, is more along the lines of not me and not self, but more along the lines of what that person's going through and seeing it from their lens. And by doing that, that will help build my score up even better. I mean, I tried this the first time and I was just openly honest. If you're basically not taking the test and being honest, then this EQ test would not be a good fit for you. But if you're completely honest with yourself, with just when you take the test, basically with this test, you go to you get this book. It's called Emotional Intelligence 2.0, and then when you get this book, you get this. They have this survey and a bunch of questions that you take. And the only way that you can take these tests is that you have to put in a code that's in the back of the book. So there's like a scratcher that you have to scratch, and there's a code that you have to type in. You go on your laptop or on your cell phone, and you take all these questions. And then after the questions, you get a free result of how you did. and then you sign up. It takes about 14 days. Not 14 days. It takes way less than that. But you have 14 days after you take the test to. Okay, that's my bagel. And no, that's not my bagel. That's my salmon cooking just finished. But you have a certain amount of time frame to sign up for the emotional intelligence webpage. If not, then it completely cancels out. You got to start again. But I did that, and those were the results that came up. And at first, I was a little bit, disappointed, a little bit frustrated. I thought I could have done better, but I was honest with myself. And the most important thing, and the most important effort, and the most important thing when it comes to building growth and building improvement is to be honest and open and honest with your own self. Because if you're not honest with your own self, how the heck are you going to be honest to other people and those around you? So I wanted to make sure that I answered the questions with honesty, and those are results that came up. But I'm just completely open with all the results because there's certain things that I need to improve on. Obviously, the 4 components is self-management, social awareness, self-awareness, and the last one, relationship management. So basically in the book, when I was reading the book, they said that there is a percentage, like 20% of people with high IQ did not do well on emotional intelligence tests. So there's people who had an average IQ that did better than the people that had a high IQ on the EQ test. And the studies have shown that people with high emotional intelligence end up getting paid more than people with low emotional intelligence. So it is a benefit to have EQ, and it's very important, and that's something that I'm really continuing to work on. But that's all I have for today. If there's anybody who's wanting to work on their emotional intelligence, get this book, Emotional Intelligence 2.0. It's a really good read. It just goes over different scenarios with others. Let's say you're working at a job. They give you a scenario of a manager and how he interacts with other employees. There's a person with high social awareness, and they give them the score of how they evaluate the manager when it comes to social awareness and relationship management. And they give scenarios of how they're good with their employees, how they're able to communicate with them effectively, and if they're in a not so good mood, they're able to manage their mood and still be able to not have a negative impact on the team. In contrast to another manager who allows wears their heart on their sleeves, and the employees are walking on eggshells because they don't know what type of mood that manager or that person is in. And it doesn't have to be in a job in the job realm. It could be in a personal realm. It could be when managing relationships as a man in a relationship, with your lady, or a woman in a relationship with their man. Like if they're constantly just an emotional roller coaster, it obviously in the test that will cause your relationship management score to go down. And there's also social awareness, being aware of other people's moods. All those categories are so important and needed and necessary. So that's all I have for today. Isaiah Learns. Make sure if life rejects you, push forward and accept yourself. Much love, y'all.